According to a California court, bees are actually fish. There's a restaurant that encourages the guests to lick the walls, and a man broke into a museum and smashed ancient artifacts because he was mad at his girlfriend. These are the weird stories for Monday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian inside a closet. There it is right there. Evidence, Exhibit A. A California court rules that bees are fish. Yes, bees are actually fish. Guys, I think we've reached the edge of sanity here, where a court is ruling that bees are fish. To me, bees aren't fish. Fish is delicious. I don't think you'd enjoy bee ceviche, let's be honest, or bee chowder. No one's eating bees and chips, guys. Bees and chips will never be on the menu. Fish is delicious. The story begins by saying, you've seen bumblebees buzzing by, right, guys? Yeah, especially in the spring and summer. This time of year, they're everywhere, collecting pollen from flowers to make that delicious honey. We all love honey. Have you ever seen a bee underwater? Well, probably not. That doesn't matter. The California Appeals Court says bees don't have to be underwater to be legally considered fish in the state. Has the California Appeals Court lost their minds? Let's find out some more information. Now, the ruling that bees are actually sushi comes after a legal dispute that began in 2019. The dispute was between the California Fish and Game Commission and some major agricultural groups in California. The commission wanted to list 4 species of bumblebees as endangered species. What are those species? I'm glad you asked. The species are the crotch bumblebee, the Franklin bumblebee, the Suckley bumblebee, and the western bumblebee. I had no idea that there were this many species of bumblebees. Fascinating. Here, we're learning on Weird AF News, right? We're learning about types of bees and that the courts are out of their mind. The reason for listing bees under fish. What is going on here? Why would they list bees as fish? There's got to be a reason. The commission says bees are fish because they are invertebrates. Therefore, they fall under the California Endangered Species Act, also known as the CESA definition of fish. But, enter the agricultural groups. What are these groups? Well, the almond group, the citrus group, the cotton grower group. They disagree that bees are fish. They call this a violation of the CESA. They're saying, no, bees aren't fish. Now, what's their angle? Why don't they want these bees to be protected? I did a story about the almond growers shipping in millions and millions of bees to pollinate all those almond trees. So it seems to me like bees are extremely important for these groups. Why don't they want them to be covered under the California Endangered Species Act? Well, it says here that insects like bees face a variety of threats these days, from pesticides to climate crisis. Oh, here we go. The pesticides. This is what's coming from these agricultural groups. They use pesticides, and so that's a threat to the bees. The population of the American bumblebee, once abundant and found all across the United States, is actually sharply declining, sadly. The species population has actually dropped nearly 90%. Wow, that's alarming. 28% of North American bumblebees are facing extinction. Therefore, the verdict to say that bees are fish is a big win for environmental groups and California's Fish and Game Commission, who were attempting to put these bumblebees into a category that could protect them. Here's a quote from Pamela from the Defenders of Wildlife. Oh, she works for Defenders of Wildlife. Good for her. Pamela says, yes, it's a great day for California's bumblebees. Today's decision confirms that California Endangered Species Act protections apply to all of our state's imperiled native species and is critical to protecting our state's renowned biodiversity. Bees and other pollinators are integral to healthy ecosystems, and the crucial pollination services they provide serve all of us, making this decision exponentially more consequential. Yes, I use a lot of big words. I am Pamela. I work for the Defenders of Wildlife. Would you like some more big words? Okay, here we go. The court's decision allows California to protect some of its most endangered pollinators, a step which will contribute to the resilience, yes, good word, resilience of the state's native ecosystems and farms. I love the word ecosystem as well. I'm a defender of wildlife. Yeah, this is great. This is great. Big win for the bumblebees. Big win for insects overall. You know, pollinators are the foundation of California's agricultural production and healthy ecosystems. So we got to do what we can. Keep all that in order. Now, they had to take it to the court because there's language discrepancies. And the CESA, they don't cover everything. It says under the CESA, a quote, endangered species can be a bird, mammal, fish, amphibian, reptile, or a plant. But there's no definition for anything like insects. So now we're just going to say insects or fish. I think a better idea might just to be inclusive of insects in the act. It sounds a little more, it just sounds more reasonable to me. How about you just include insects in your act instead of saying insects or fish or reptiles? But I mean, come on, this is United States bureaucracy. I mean, you can't expect them to be rational. A restaurant is encouraging guests to lick the walls. Scottsdale, Arizona. Patrons at a restaurant in Arizona are welcome to lick the walls while they dine. Just get up out your seat and lick the walls. Why not? What's going on here? Are the walls delicious, or is everybody on Molly? Yeah, I've wanted to lick some walls when I was on certain chemicals, for sure. Yeah, some of these chemicals make you just want to lick something. I'll lick your ankle for 8 hours on MDMA. I'll lick 8 hours of ankle licking. Sign me up. I'm into it. Let's get some information about these walls. The Mission Restaurant. It's called The Mission. They're gaining attention in Old Town Scottsdale after the owners say guests can lick the walls while they enjoy their food or drink. Why? Why would you want to lick some walls at a restaurant? They must be pretty tasty. Perhaps the walls are made of salsa. You just get up out of your seat. Just bring your tortilla chips right to the wall. Rub them on the wall and eat them. Maybe the wall tastes like lime. And so you do your shot of tequila and lick the wall. What is it about this wall? I'm on the edge of my seat. Is the wall dripping with some sort of sweet sauce? Is the wall made of avocado? Oh, what is it? I want to know. Maybe it's a wall of cheese. Well, the wall is made of a property. Himalayan rock salt. Yeah, did I have you on the edge of your seat where you're like, Jonesy, just tell me what the wall's made out of? Yeah, Himalayan rock salt. So I guess you could lick it for... Yeah, I've been around Himalayan rock salt walls before. I know it sounds strange, but if you've ever been to one of those extravagant Korean spas, usually they have various kinds of saunas. And the saunas have different properties. Maybe one is all wooden. And you usually have one where the walls are made of this Himalayan rock salt. I never thought to get up in the middle of my schwitz and lick the wall. I think if I did that, they would kick me out of the spa. But maybe it's a great time to lick a Himalayan rock salt wall. People are doing it at this restaurant. Now, representatives with this trendy dining spot called The Mission say the head chef brought these Himalayan rocks in to add to the overall ambiance and help customers with, guess what? I sort of had a preconceived notion of what this would be. It's to help the customers with their tequila shots. How about that? Yeah, go lick the wall. Just take your shot up to the wall. Are there lime trees in the middle of the restaurant as well growing? That seems appropriate. It says here, Himalayan rock salt has natural sanitary properties. Yeah, not when 100 people are licking the wall a night. I mean, that's 100 stranger tongues. I think at that point it loses all of its sanitary properties. That's just me. It says here they have its natural sanitary properties, but the restaurant staff say they regularly wipe them down. Okay, nothing to fear here, guys. Oh, the 5,000 people have licked this wall. Don't worry, we wipe it down. It's no problem. Also, there's still COVID in the world, but no problem. You can mouth herpes is also a thing, but just forget about that. Get up and lick the wall. We're not going to give you a salt shaker at your table. You're going to have to get up and lick the wall. We're all about it. We're all about it. According to a statement from the owner of the Mission, the walls have already seen quite a lot of action. That's comforting. That's comforting. Why don't you go up to Slow and pick some gum off the gum wall and chew that while you're at it? You guys know what that is? The gum wall up in San Luis Obispo. Just a bunch of people decided to stick their gum on the wall and then became a tourist attraction. And now people just go there and put their gum on the wall. It's very unsanitary, sort of like this Himalayan rock salt wall. But hey, To each his own, right? I mean, if you want to lick a communal wall during a pandemic, I guess that's your business. I assume you sign a release form, right? Yay! A man broke into a museum and destroyed ancient artifacts because he was mad at his girlfriend. A man who said he was angry at his girl broke into the Dallas Museum of Art on Wednesday evening and, get this, caused more than $5 million in damage to artifacts and other property. That's right. The Dallas police arrested Brian Hernandez, age 21, just a young, heartbroken man. Hey, when you're young and heartbroken, you're capable of anything, even destroying ancient Greek artifacts. Anything's on the menu. You'll steal a boat, crash into a pier. I've seen it all too many times. Security video showed this young Brian outside the museum's front entrance. He had a metal chair in his hand at 9:40 p.m. Shortly after, he's seen on the video inside the museum, walking from room to room, smashing display cases and the items inside. It's very strange. After he punched a case multiple times, Brian grabbed a metal stool and shattered the glass in two pieces within it. We have here this is some damaged property. It's a 6th century Greek amphora. Oh man, a Greek amphora, those are lovely. I don't even know what that is. I think you can smoke weed with it. Yeah. He also smashed a pot dating to 450 BC. Brian, just come on, man. The two items, just those two items were combined to be $5 million in value. Just those two. He smashed some other things. What else? He destroyed a, quote, Kylix Heracles and Nemeon lion statue, which is valued at about $100,000. Oh, no. Here's a quote from the arrest sheet. The items inside of the display cases that were destroyed are rare. They're rare ancient artifacts that are extremely precious. They are very rare. They are one of a kind. Now, heartbroken Brian wasn't done with the Heracles lion statue, nor the pot or the amphora, which I still say is an ancient weed-smoking device. He continued through the museum and used a hand sanitizer stand to shatter the case containing a statue of the Batakahu alligator garfish. You guys know that one, right? I got a poster of that on my wall. That thing's super cool. The Batakahu alligator garfish. Yeah, we love that. That's $10,000 that he smashed right there. He then picked it up and slammed it to the ground, broke it in all sorts of pieces. Oh, boy. Man, I'm afraid to go further with this. I mean, what other amazing ancient artifacts did he destroy? The Ark of the Covenant? Oh, no, we can't have that. What about the Shroud of Turin? Or the, what's that stone with the language on it? The Rosetta Stone, that one? That's super important. By the way, I actually, when I was in Mexico City, got to see the very famous Mayan calendar while I was there. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. When security wasn't looking, as they don't really tend to when you're in Mexican museums, I touched it. Yeah, that's right. I touched the Mayan calendar. You're not supposed to, but I touched it. Thank God Brian didn't show up there. This jilted lover, he would have destroyed that Mayan calendar. Okay, what else? He's seen on security camera video destroying other property, such as a laptop. He destroyed a phone, a monitor, 2 wooden display signs, 4 plexiglass display cases. My goodness, it just doesn't end. Eventually, security of the museum arrived and told him to sit on a bench while they called the police. I don't know, what did security say to get him to sit on a bench? This guy's just up in arms and out of his mind over a broken heart. This security person must have some sort of psychological background or maybe therapy on the side. It's a security guard that's also practicing therapy. Calmed him down, got him to sit on a bench, asked him what was wrong. Brian told the security guard that he, quote, got mad at his girl, so he broke in and started destroying the property. So he's just very matter-of-fact about it. Now, on some level, this makes sense because young boys, they need an outlet for this. They just get angry and, I recommend hitting the heavy bag for a few hours. That can help you. I don't recommend smashing ancient Greek amphoras, those things that you smoke weed with. Such a strange choice to go to a museum. I mean, perhaps this was where he went with his girl on a first date or something. I think something like that. Some sort of connection there must be. Maybe that was her favorite place. I just don't know. Was that her favorite amphora? We need more information. Now, Kenneth Bennett, the museum's director of security and operations, say the total damage done by Heartbroken Brian was estimated at $5.2 million, which could change pending a final assessment by the museum's curator and insurance, according to the police department. Kenneth said, "This was an isolated incident perpetrated by one individual acting alone whose intent was not theft of the art or any objects on view at the museum. However, some of the works of art were damaged, and we are still in the process of assessing the extent of the damages. While we are devastated by this incident, of course, everyone loves an amphora. We are grateful that no one was harmed." Hey, you made it all the way to the outro of this episode of Weird AF News. I'm grateful for your time. I hope you had a nice weekend. I hope you enjoyed that Florida Friday episode. Thanks to everyone who sent me Florida articles, by the way. Super helpful. I had a lot of them, and that was a lot of fun. If you guys would like to send me things, you know, the email's funnyjones@gmail.com. If you'd like to call the show because any of these stories, made you feel like you wanted to react, or you just wanted to say what's up to me, the number is 646-450-2012. Feel free to leave me a delightful message or a critical message as well, if that's your bag. Just try and keep the F-bombs out of it, if you could. Appreciate that. We got some children listening sometimes, I imagine. Maybe not. I have no idea. Just trying to cover all my bases here. If you guys would like to support the show by joining the Patreon, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Patreon. It's patreon.com/weirdafnews. When you join the Patreon, you get that nice feeling that you're supporting a daily weird news podcast it's recorded by one guy in a closet. That's pretty cool, right? You know, to know that you're doing that. You also get access to a lot of additional weird content. I put like 5 videos in there over the weekend, stuff that I came across that's extremely weird. Yeah, I'm constantly watching weird YouTube videos. It's sort of like a thing I do almost daily. And some of that stuff I think is like worthy of the eyeballs of others. So I put that in the Patreon sometimes. Articles I come across, follow-ups to previous stories that I've done on the show. Sometimes I'll put them in there as well. So yeah, I'm pretty active in there, so you get that. It's pretty cool. So if you want to support the show, check out the Patreon. You can also get there by going to weirdafnews.com and clicking on the Patreon banner. I just want to say I'm grateful for your time once again. We'll keep this brief, and we'll see you tomorrow.